Here's how you can tell the difference between somebody who doesn't live here. See that the mirror is out? It's my vehicle. You got to push the mirror in, because eventually someone will knock the fucking mirror right off your car. Oh God, I sound unhappy. Let me come back in a minute. All right, I'm not gonna make you wait. See the title of the video? I'm not gonna make you listen to me talk for 20 minutes to hear the answer to this. The answer to the question is why, what's the video called? Why I would never live in New York City again? The answer is, what is the answer? Because it fucking sucks. I know, look, that's a little bit of a cop-out. That's a lot bit of a cop-out. But the title of the video is not, the title of the video is not the pros and cons of living in New York City or the pros and cons of visiting New York City. The title of the video is why I would never fucking live here again. It's because it sucks. All right, let me not just say some generalized blanket statement cop out like that, okay? Because it's a lot more complicated than that. But your life is just going to become this dumpster. This dumpster will become your life. All right, look, I'm in a little bit of a negative headspace. You like my shirt? Passenger of shit. Suicidal rap orgy. Anybody? Shout out to all the people who watch my videos. Not gonna name them. Let me tell you where I am. I'm in Bushwick. Right on the verge of where it connects to Ridgewood, Queens. And I'm a little stressed. That's fair to say. I'm a little stressed. But let's get right into it, okay? You already know it's expensive. If you live in a place like San Francisco, Bay Area, probably true of Austin, then it's all expensive and it doesn't make a difference. It's the same fucking thing. How can I describe it to you? There's a character from Boardwalk Empire. Is Sean Penn on Boardwalk Empire? I don't know if it's Sean Penn or somebody else. I'd like to say I remember the character's name, but I've never seen the show. I know of the character's name because I used to produce rap albums when I lived in Bay Ridge. And the guy, I don't remember his name unfortunately, he had named himself after a character on the show. And he would like have me bring in all these sound bites, you know, samples. You know how rappers like sound bites in their songs? So he had me bring in this sound bite. Is the character's name Mickey something? Arnold Rothstein, that was the character's name. It was played by somebody like Sean Penn, if it wasn't actually Sean Penn. And the soundbite, he says, he's in the process of like successfully colonizing Los Angeles. Isn't that what it is? He's trying to successfully, as a gangster, colonize Los Angeles. And he comes from New York, and he's specifically, he's kind of just shitting on New York. And he's talking about, he has a soundbite. God, this took me so long to say. The soundbite is like, New York City. It's like a rat trap. Trapped in there with the rats. Everybody living on top of each other. You can't even fucking move. I didn't used to feel that. I do now. And maybe it's because I'm older. Maybe it's because I live in pretty luxurious surroundings in southern Utah with a lot of freedom, with a lot of serenity. When I say freedom, I don't mean that kind of freedom. I just mean freedom to move around and not be disturbed and not have to be on top of each other. So bear that in mind. Please forgive how unfocused this is, but let me just tell you real quick. I spent my 20s living in Brooklyn, okay? Which, if you don't know, is one of the 5 boroughs of New York City. I'm now really like into Ridgewood now, Ridgewood, Queens, right next to Bushwick. Might as well be the same thing, but it is a little different, it's a little better. And I never used to think I hate it here. Never used to think this place is stressful. You know why? Because when you're 20 years old and you come to Bushwick, your brain explodes. You're 20 years old and you come here and you visit some friends and you see what it is and your brain explodes and all you can think is, I have to come live here. I need to live here. And that's the time to do it, is in your 20s. But your brain only explodes if you've never been to a foreign country, which this place might as well be a foreign country. I'm not going to get into what I mean by that, but it has very little to do with ethnicities or the demographic. It's just that if you're from the Midwest or wherever that's not one of the big cities in the US, you come here and it's completely different, okay? You've never seen people living like this. You walk down the street and I don't know, I think if you live here past a certain point, you lose your fucking mind. I think it drives you crazy. I think the level of stress adds up and builds up and it's just too much for an adult mind to handle. I just smoked a cigarette and I was fucking craving. I basically ate the cigarette. I was dying for it. I wanted it so badly because I was in the midst of some kind of or another of a stress freak out, okay? Which is easy to have happen. And you know what? All I did today, I'm on vacation. I didn't even start working yet. I'm gonna start tomorrow working on actual projects. 0 paid work, foreseeable for the rest of the week. But what does that tell you? I've been on vacation. I've basically just been eating good food, which again, I'm not talking about the pros and cons, but they do have really good food here. That goes without saying. But I've been on vacation. I'm just fucking hanging out, eating good food, and reading books and comics. Like a lot, more than I do in my normal life. I've been on vacation and I'm feeling stressed out. Does it help that I got a $95 parking ticket because signs weren't exactly clear, or at least I didn't understand them? Yeah, sure, that's a factor. Maybe I can't even put it into words anymore. You know, I lived in LA for 2 years. People always like to compare New York and LA, right? I suppose with good cause. They're two big cities that have much in common, though certainly not everything. But for what you actually pay in rent, grocery bills, and parking tickets, and everything else, I'm sorry to say, but I have come full circle to thinking that LA is just way better on every front. And I don't want to come with a bunch of pointless, harsh judgments. For example, like that thanks to Billie Eilish, everybody just dresses like it's the 90s, just wearing the baggiest clothes. What kind of complaint is that people don't dress sexy? Look at me. I'm wearing a stupid t-shirt and I'm wearing shorts. It's humid here. I didn't say anything of value. I didn't say anything coherent yet. Maybe I don't need to. You know, when I was in my 20s and I liked it here, I had a couple friends who hated it. Still friends with one of them. That's you, Mark Breeze, who's not watching this, but he always hated living here. And I never understood it. I was like, this place is awesome. What do you mean? It's so fucking cool here. I'm now fully aware of how he hated it and why he hated it. And I wonder why I didn't. I don't know, maybe it is just the youth factor. You just think this place is so cool, there's so much creative possibility, I'm surrounded by artists. And I do want to say, if you have some very serious wealth and you can pay somebody to do everything, pay them to park your car, pay them to fucking buy your groceries, pay them to do all the bullshit work that's really just requires much more effort here than it does anywhere else, then this place might be great. I'm not that. I also want to say, if either your parents got lucky or worked very hard, or you come from some sort of intergenerational wealth, then it's a different story altogether, because then you might actually have some modicum of comfort to yourself, right? So, for example, I have a friend whose father came from Ireland, did very well for himself, built a little, what I would call a miniature empire, basically afforded his progeny some very serious comfort, and as far as New York City is concerned, some fucking luxury. He lives in a nice place. Well, what's nice? I'll show you where I'm staying later, maybe, but it's so fucking small. It's so fucking crowded, and it costs like $2,100 a month. As far as big city rents isn't crazy, but I gotta say, that $2,100 I'm pretty sure, based on my lived experience, gets you a lot more for your money, a lot more comfort, a lot more space. I'm just constantly walking to avoid stepping in dog shit right now. Does that tell you anything? Does that clarify part of my gripe at least? And that's not a joke. I'm not going to turn the camera down. I'm sure I've already stepped in it, because if I'm not paying attention, if one is not paying attention, you're going to step in dog shit. That's just part of the silent agreement, pretty much, right? So, is the video supposed to be called "Shitty Things About New York"? Is that too easy? I just wouldn't do it now. Wouldn't pay all that fucking money to live in. It's not squalor, you're not living in squalor, but it's so tight. It's so tight and it's so stressful. And again, every little thing you want to do just requires more money, more stress, and a lot of it seems needless. I'm not having a good time here, if you can't tell already. And again, I hate to repeat myself, but I'm on vacation, you know? Although I don't know if I thought of this as a vacation. Is it cool that there's a giant bookstore? Yes, but I gotta say something about that giant bookstore. It's not well curated. So they have 1 million books that are actually overpriced. I know this because I'm somewhat familiar with the value of used books. And they're priced, I'm talking about the Strand bookstore, of course, and they're priced between $3.50 and $9 more than they should be, okay? You might not care about that, but if you're me, then you have a very serious reading habit, and you're just, can I afford it? I guess, but I'm not okay spending $3.50 to $9 more on a book. Oh my God, it's Fauci's grave. It's really Fauci's grave. Can you see it? I'm gonna zoom in on that, Fauci's grave. Funny joke? I don't know. So yeah, what did I say? They have a bookstore, that's cool, but it's overstocked with a bunch of bullshit and it's not well curated. You don't even care about books. But let me just say, Eagle Rock, Los Angeles has a used bookstore, as in one, single. It's called Red Books. And you know what? It's well curated. It's fucking tight, it's cramped, it's not very big, it's basically a room. But the shit they have is good and well curated. Enough about books. Enough about books. I'm having fun hanging out with friends, reconnecting. But there's, I don't know, in LA, I didn't have to sit in traffic that much, which might sound crazy to you, but I didn't leave the house that much. I didn't have a job where I had to commute. For some goddamn reason here, I find myself sitting in traffic. And yeah, I guess there's something different about sitting there just staring at the fucking freeway and the cars. Everywhere you go, I'm surrounded by cars, which is just, again, part of the deal. And it's not to say in Los Angeles you're not surrounded by cars. You absolutely are. But it's more spread out. Trent's not watching anymore, I don't think. But I remember him telling me he's lived in both places, and for the money, he thought LA had way more to offer. And I thought he was fucking nuts when he said that. I'm not gonna talk about the weather, but if you want, it's very humid here. Extremely humid. I live in a desert. So actually that's kind of nice because my nose isn't constantly cracking with fucking dried blood. You know, I thought I had something coherent, sensible, reasonable, something logical that would come across. I don't even know if I have it right now. Like, I just want to leave. I felt that way when I lived here, and I moved a couple times. I was like, I need to get the fuck out of New York. I need to move. And it wasn't surprising to me then, and it's not surprising to me now to feel that way, because the level of stress is coming from every angle. Oh, you sound like an old man. That's fine, I am old, I'm 37, all right? Man, I see old people here, and I'm like, how the fuck? How did they stay here for their entire life? Because you don't move here when you're like 70. You're not leaving Myrtle Beach South Carolina, South Kakalaki, you don't leave there when you're 70 and say, hey honey, now that we're retired and living in our golden years, why don't we move to New York City? You know why? Because they'd be fucking dead. They'd have a heart attack. They wouldn't even be able to handle it, I don't think. Okay? And if you haven't visited here or really stayed here, it's a little bit hard to describe, because I can tell you about the parking tickets. I can tell you about the filth, the dog shit, the sweat, the crowdedness. I can tell you about all the things, but none of them are really, I guess that makes me a poor imagery illustrator. I don't have the right word. Orator, you take your pick. I can't even articulate what I don't like about this place now. The noise. We didn't even talk about the noise. I lied down for my first night to go to sleep here, and I was like, what am I hearing? You know what you're hearing? A sea. A literal sea of air conditioners, all fucking blasting at the same time. And if you've done some reading, then you know that eventually in New York City, you go deaf. Well, you don't go deaf, it damages your hearing. That's a more correct and fair way to say it. Okay, it damages your hearing. I'm very sensitive about my hearing because I'm a music producer. I'm a sound mixer. Well, I don't have shit for work right now. I don't know. I can't have a video where I just keep saying I don't know. I'm thinking of the people who I know who still like living here. Like Bogdan, who lives in Ridgewood, Queens. He's got a nice place, comparatively extremely affordable for what he has, which is a nice 1-bedroom, pretty spacious, backyard, a porch. That's just not an accurate depiction of what most people will get. And I won't say what he pays for rent. Maybe that's some sort of taboo I'm not supposed to get into, but I will say that it's between $700 and $900 less than you would pay anywhere else in this town. So it does feel. Can you imagine just living in this noise? Look. Again, I'm not here to shit on the place. I'm not here to say all the people who live here are fucked. I think a lot of people probably are born here and then you don't have any choice but to leave unless you come into some money, or if you work really hard and get lucky, right place, right time, and actually are able to leave. Man, I don't know. This was the wrong time to make a video, or maybe it was just the right time. You can see how despondent I am. You know, despondent just means hopeless. Fancy word for hopeless. But it's odd because I've actually felt really happy for a while. My therapist really fixed some things for me. I've been feeling actual joy and happiness. I know that sounds ridiculous, but god damn it, it's true. And it's like, what did I even do today to get myself in such a headspace? Hung out with a friend, went for a long walk in Queens, went to a grocery store, parked again. That's fun. I like parking and then parking again. Maybe even parking a third time. I don't know, man. I think I thought it pretty quickly. Let me sidestep for a second and say Bay Ridge is different. Eris, I don't think he's watching this video, but he lives in Bay Ridge. I went to Bay Ridge over the weekend, and you know what? It was really nice. It's a beautiful place. It's spacious. They have like incredible restaurants. You don't feel that everything on top of you feeling. But you know what? That might be all it is. It might just be the feeling of everything on top of you all at once. Not Everything Everywhere All at Once, the movie. More so just everything on top of you all at once. Everyone on top of you all at once. Again, I'm somewhat frustrated at my inability to eloquently articulate what I really wanted to say here. But then again, maybe I've already said it. I'm not going to get into the pros. You can figure them out. You can read a Quora or Reddit post about it. They're there. the reason people want to come here. And I do think my age has something to do with it. I do think that. It's just quiet here for a change. A little quiet block, again, right on the brink of Ridgewood and Bushwick. No, I used to live in Bay Ridge, and I still felt that same level of stress. You know what I mean? I still felt that level of, isn't that nice? You gotta love things like that. I do, at least. It's, why? I find myself asking why a lot out here. There's something about hearing people scream every day. Something about seeing people unleash aggression. For example, yesterday at the Regal, when I went to watch the new David Cronenberg movie, which I loved, and that's fucking amazing that I could go watch a David Cronenberg movie at a major theater chain. That's really cool. But when I was getting into the theater, there was just chaos erupting. There was these kids, probably 17 to 21 age range, grabbing everything you could from the condiment area, which is napkins, ketchup, straws, and just taking them and throwing them everywhere as quickly as possible, just wreaking havoc on the Regal. Because they were getting kicked out for acting a fool. And there's something about it. It's funny and interesting and bizarre and cool for a second. But ultimately, kind of just leaves you with the feeling of insecurity. And I almost feel a little eensy-weensy, tiny-whiny sense of that every time somebody's fucking screaming out their car at oncoming traffic. And mind you, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Wednesday. Wait, what? Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That's from 6 days. 6 days of just being in a place that I was actually very excited to come visit. I couldn't wait. So maybe my expectations were a little funky too. What were my expectations? See all the old places, see all the old faces, have fun, eat good food. That one came true. Seeing all the old places and old faces did somewhat come true so far. I'm still waiting. But it is like Sunday I'm gonna go visit Uncle Marky. That's what I call him, my buddy Mark. It was $17 to cross that bridge to get there. To cross the Verrazano Bridge, which is beautiful, by the way. Just saw it last weekend. It was $17, and that was almost 5 years ago. So I guarantee now, if it's not 20, I'll be surprised. $20 to cross a fucking bridge. What do you think? You know, I've always found people had a really bad attitude about this place who had never visited, or they went there on a weekend trip. And they're like, I would never do it. I would never live there. I would never subject myself to that. It's not worth it. And goddamn if there isn't a serious modicum of truth to that, even though it's just a perspective or an opinion. But I feel it now. I obviously feel it now. And I want to leave. I'm here for like minimum 2 weeks from today. And it is going to change because tomorrow I'm getting back into my projects, which I had been, won't say I've been slacking on, but I've been spending time with some friends. It was more important to do that than it was to work on my radio play or my new music video. So maybe hopeless and despondent was not the best way to approach this video. Maybe talking through it has made me feel better, but I will tell you, it has not changed the fact that it's a hard no, and that is part of the reason I came here, because I want to leave Southern Utah. I'm going to leave Southern Utah. And I thought maybe I wanted to be back on the East Coast. But as you can tell from my tone, that is now a hard no. Hard no as in, you could, if you paid me and you paid for my life, then I would live here. That doesn't happen, generally speaking, right? So that's kind of where I'm at currently with it. God, I hope this video didn't make you sad. Hope you didn't find it some variety of utterly depressing and fucked. Because that's not necessarily what I'm trying to present to you. But that's it. I clearly don't have very much more to say, so I'm gonna cut it off here, but I hope I explained it. I hope you got something out of this. Oh, he's having a bad time in New York. He wouldn't live here again. He did it in his 20s, but now he wouldn't because he's old. Fair enough. I would not begrudge you if that was the logic that you derived from this video. It's another question is, would I live in LA again? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. What I want to do is live in a place with some acreage. I'm looking at Fayetteville, Arkansas, I'm looking at Tulsa, Oklahoma. I do have to check the air quality. Another big factor. Done a lot of coughing since I've been here. It's not from smoking cigarettes. It's the air, it's the water, which I'm not even drinking from the faucet, but invariably you get it in your body. You get it from a shower. You do get it from some food. I mean, if you go to a restaurant, you're gonna drink water, then you're drinking New York City water. Getting like weird rashes, my whole body's itching, coughing. The air quality here is very problematic. But again, you probably already knew that, right? To all the people who still live here and enjoy living here, have fun living here and get something out of it and feel completely different or maybe even polar opposite to what I feel about it. All right, I do need to make some kind of addendum to that video. That was too depressing. Oh, God. So here's your addendum. When I was walking back home, where I am right now, home, I was just plugging my ears as a siren went by. They have sirens elsewhere. They have sirens in St. George, Utah, and Ivins, Utah. Quite frankly, not many of them. Here, if you visited New York or if you fucking live here, then you know that you're going to be plugging your ears a lot if you care about your hearing, because there's sirens all the time. When I was walking back and just feeling bad about this video, I felt like I was unfair to New York. I don't think I was, though. Oh, I turned on the camera to make an addendum and I didn't even have anything to say? Oof, that's bleak. It's not even that interesting, is it? You know what? Just look at this cat for a minute. This is the addendum, is this cat.